And architects do look at the world differently. You know, where other people see a blank spot or devastation or poverty, architects see an opportunity to do something beautiful. And I think that makes them really different.
Nobody thinks about complex problems using architecture as his medium. And Cameron Sinclair, ladies and gentlemen, Cameron Sinclair.
A good designer has great ideas, a great designer implements them.
I was lecturing around the country about, architects can make a difference in the world, but didn't really have much to go on other than my unending optimism that we could.
This isn't just about nonprofit. What it showed me is that there's a grassroots movement going on of socially responsible designers who really believe that this world has got a lot smaller and that we have the opportunity to really get involved in making change. There are hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of architects and designers and inventors around the world that are getting involved in humanitarian work.
The phrase "design like you give it down" came just out of frustration, that we should just make a difference.
There are a number of great groups out there doing this work. And I think the whole point of Design Like You Give It Down is just to highlight them, to learn from them, to talk to each other. It really came out of the fact that a lot of architects wanted to do this work. And they, like us, were looking for ways to do it.
We actually got the deal to write the book in 2004 when we were a tiny organization, really doing one project a year. And in the time we got to start writing the book, there was a tsunami in Southeast Asia.
There was literally $250,000 in unsolicited donations in our Architecture for Humanity PayPal account.
We went from suddenly being this tiny design-based nonprofit to working in multiple countries at the same time. And we had to kind of learn on the fly.
A lot of people were talking to us about scale, and they had this idea of scale being replicate a building 1,000 times, right? Make the most efficient prefab model you could possibly do and replicate that 1,000 times. And our view on that is no, scale is you have 1,000 different solutions that people can replicate and adapt and change that are right for that circumstance. But do that 1 billion times, right? That's what's scalable, is people getting out there and doing this work and learning it.
One of the biggest challenges humanitarian design faces is the old adage of we're just getting a roof over their heads, which means that the bar is set really low. And when you're working on, say, a housing development that you're trying to integrate stormwater management, sanitation, schools, health clinics, trying to make a really holistic community, you have all the voices around you. They're just saying, listen, you can just save a lot of time, money, and energy if you just give them a basic roof over their head, right? That's all they want. But that's not what they want. They want to aspire to a community that's as strong, as rich as anything we would want to live in. Part of that equation is to create gathering spaces that everyone feels safe. We just finished a project in Rwanda that brought together Hutu and Tutsi kids using sports as a mechanism to do reconciliation. These are kids who were born after the genocide. All the nonprofits who were there right after the genocide to now have had to deal with this heavy weight, this heavy burden. We get to come in and build a solution.
I think Architecture for Humanity differs from a traditional architecture firm in that it is not localized around the practice of one designer or one aesthetic or one programmatic area. Most of the mission of Architecture for Humanity is actually to empower other architects A lot of our funding goes to provide design grants to humanitarian architects the world over.
We act almost as developers, if you will, coordinating both the financing, client relations, overseeing the quality of the construction, and then finally, just as importantly, monitoring and evaluation in the short term and the long term.
The most common frustration that we find in working with architects all over the world is that they have so many good ideas. They're so civically minded. They know what needs to get done, but the funding isn't there, and they don't know how to get it. We have the capabilities. We've built the critical mass. We have an engine that can raise money and empower these architects to do what they want to do.
In terms of completed projects, I'm really proud of a lot of our post-disaster reconstruction work. It doesn't matter if it's Haiti or Japan, it's the commitment to a community. And we've said that we'll build 5 schools. We've ended up building 20. We said that we'll build 7 homes. We've been involved in 700.
The emphasis is really on partnership. We are bringing expertise that has been accrued as an international organization dealing with post-disaster reconstruction. We partner that with the local expertise that someone can only get by having been a practicing architect in that country for their whole lives.
We realized that what needed to be done post-Katrina was huge. And we did a couple of things that end up being now hallmarks of how Architecture for Humanity works. We actually needed a team of people working together, and not all of them needed to be architects. We needed people who were case managers, we needed people who were liaising with government, and we need construction managers. And what was happening was, if you were a homeowner, to talk to any one of those groups of people, you had to go to 8 different offices. Imagine, like you've just lost your house, and they're sending you on this daily runaround to all these offices. So we decided to take all of that and put them all in one place. Somebody would come in and they would be able to get all the services that they needed in one place. And they knew that if they came back tomorrow, the same people would be there to help them. I remember one of our clients had been broken into in her trailer and she was scared. And she didn't call the police. She called the Community Design Center, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. But that was the level of trust and engagement that they had. They knew if they called the Community Design Center, someone would do something about it and help them.
Architects want to help, they want to get involved. And I think Kate and Cameron and everybody else at Architecture for Humanity has spent 14 years creating these systems that can catalyze that effort and build on that goodwill.
I hope that Design Like You Give a Damn and this network of amazing people that we brought together become a resource for the next generation of architects. And it's not so hard for them to figure out how to make a difference in the places that they love.